Hi, I'm Alex McCrickard. I'm the Aquatic Education Coordinator here at Department of Wildlife Resources.
Hi, I'm Eddie Herndon, and I'm the R3 Recruitment Retention Reactivation Coordinator with the Department of Wildlife Resources.
Eddie and I will be giving a joint presentation here on our new Fish Local Virginia program. So I want to first start off by saying that as an agency, we have been managing fisheries in rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, and impoundments across the state and in urban metropolitan areas for decades upon decades. This is something that we've been doing for a long, long time. A lot of our impoundments we have warm water fish assemblages that are primarily composed of species like largemouth bass, bluegill, red ear sunfish, channel catfish. Some of them even have walleye. And then we have some cold water assemblages. Oftentimes, some of our urban waters, we actually stock with species of trout like brown brook and even rainbow in some instances as well. So we've been creating and managing fisheries for decades upon decades. Our stocking rates for our particularly our urban waters that we manage can kind of vary based upon the assemblage. For our channel catfish, which we stock fairly regularly for a lot of our impoundments across our urban areas, the typical stocking rate is 100 per acre, although for some of our urban waters like Shields Lake in downtown Richmond, we actually stock at 250 fish per acre. And that's really kind of goes down to the location, the amount of fish that are available, in addition to angling pressure. For some of our urban trout waters, like Shields Lake and like Dory Park in Henrico County, those urban waters are stocked 5 separate times throughout a year at about approximately 1,200 fish per acre. And that kind of all depends upon hatchery production. So not only do we stock these impoundments with various fish species creating recreational opportunities, but we're constantly out monitoring and sampling these water bodies typically once a year. Our biologists are out electrofishing, and it allows us to kind of get a good baseline understanding as to the fish assemblage, abundance, and we can kind of look at populations and trending over time, and ultimately assess whether we need to increase stocking rates, decrease stocking rates, etc. So again, as I mentioned, our urban program waters get stocked 5 times throughout the year. And again, that's primarily with brown and rainbow trout, in addition to brook trout in some instances. We also do habitat improvement at a lot of our local waters. We will oftentimes plant Christmas trees, and we try to do this in proximities that are close to the bank or a public access point, so anglers have places to cast towards, habitat that will consolidate fish close to shore. We also sometimes do artificial habitat like these mossbacks here that allow for some really great habitat for fish species to congregate amongst, to really kind of improve the habitat in a certain body of water. So this is a program that's existed for decades upon decades, and that's kind of the main point that I want to make here is that Fish Local Virginia was really an opportunity for us to put a wrapper around an existing program. It's really a marketing effort, and really our survey results kind of show that most anglers aren't really willing to drive further than 30 minutes to find good fishing. In addition to the fact that time is a barrier, as life gets busier and busier, your windows to go fishing can get shorter and shorter. So having an opportunity that's close to home is really paramount. In addition, our population has increased in the state of Virginia by about 1.5 million since the year 2000, and most of this growth has occurred in urban metropolitan areas. So one of our main missions as an agency is to connect the general public to our fish and wildlife resources and opportunities with the end goal of promoting participation and creating stewards and conservationists. So we found a really great opportunity to ultimately revamp our website and come up with a marketing campaign to brand a lot of our efforts as Fish Local Virginia. So to get into a little bit more, we have about 90 water bodies that that are part of our Fish Local Virginia program. And these are located primarily in urban metropolitan areas. You can think of the most populated areas being Northern Virginia, Richmond, Virginia Beach, but also we want our Fish Local waters to be representative of the entire state of Virginia. So we have opportunities in Southwest Virginia, in Marion, Roanoke, etc. We have created a website revamp where ultimately we have a Fish Local landing page that allows anglers to go to learn more about the program. Once you're on the landing page, you can scroll through and look at Fish Local waters by locality. So whether you live in a specific county, you can look at all the water bodies that are in that certain area that are Fish Local waters. Or if you want to just take a generalized look at a map of Virginia, you can scroll through that way and ultimately click on a water body that is near you. And it'll let you know, here's Lakeview Reservoir. We know that largemouth bass is the best bet there. We do stock this water body with catfish, so they're present. It's not one of our urban trout waters, but panfish are present. And anglers can, as they start to get into fishing, can search on this map by species that they're interested in. So this is a great way to get information out to the general public and promote not only the fishery and what's available, but also other amenities that are at those sites. Go back to trying to get out of this real quick. There we go. Back to, hold on one second. We'll go back to this real quick. All right.
Yeah, as Alex was mentioning, we've been managing these sites through science for many years, and we're taking an approach of how do we use these sites to engage more new and returning anglers. And one of the things we focus on now is trying to understand these audiences better and using that information to craft strategies that help to promote fishing to the general public and people that aren't doing it every weekend. So we did do a focus group last year with responsive management, and we asked some specific questions related to our urban fishing program and also, who these people are, understanding their characteristics, their motivations. I want to talk about some of that today. So looking at new and returning anglers, these are people that started fishing for the first time in 2020 or restarted it after many years. They tended to be located in suburban, urban areas in these high population areas. They tended to be more female, more diverse, and they tended to want to fish with other people. They really like the camaraderie that came with fishing. They're not out there looking for necessarily the biggest fish, but more for the entire experience and to have fun. They're also, have some barriers that we need to worry about, some constraints, and I want to get into those in the next slide here. Specifically related to urban fishing sites, the good news was a lot of them, over a quarter of them, were actually already using these sites. So they're aware of, many people are aware of them, but clearly many people are also not. They want these sites to be stocked. They appreciate that, but they want to know what to expect. So that's where that web page comes in, because it really tells people what to expect when they come to these waters. Is there parking? Are there restrooms? Are there other activities nearby that they can participate in while they go out?
We really are trying to pitch fishing and engagement with our Fish Local waters as sort of one activity on a Saturday afternoon, with plenty of opportunity for family-oriented activities.
Yeah, and hopefully once they do it and start to get into it, then they can experience other more more water bodies throughout the state. So the information we got from these focus groups was critical in kind of understanding the audiences and figuring out what do we need to do to keep them engaged. So we heard things like they were worried about overcrowding, pollution, litter at some of these sites. Um, they want to meet new other anglers as opposed to many avid anglers who are kind of out there for the solitude. These groups are different, and that's what we need to keep in mind moving forward. So we, R3 stands for recruitment, retention, reactivation. So we want to try to recruit new people and then retain their interest. So how do we do that? We need to direct the right information to the right audiences. What Alex is doing with outreach videos and programs is going to help a ton to engage people. But things like, simplifying the information and signage, like we did on the Fish Local website, is I think a critical point. Investing in actually cleaning up these areas um, is going to be important moving forward. And then also just our general focus as an agency, I think, has been really about, the outdoors are better together. And that's the message we want to try to put out there, because this is kind of the focus of many new people and returning people alike, is they want to do it with other people and do it safely. So we have programs like Refer a Friend. Our messaging is all about the outdoors are better together, and we do other outreach events like our free fishing days. We'll talk about now. So every year when a non-COVID year, we host what's called Free Fishing Day, which it allows anybody to fish without a license.
Always the first weekend in June. It's kind of a sort of like test driving a car. You get to try it. You get to try it without being committed.
Exactly, and it really it's aimed at the people that don't fish. I think that's the key thing here. And what this is 2 years ago, we held some pretty large events throughout the Commonwealth, with DWR staff, a lot of aquatic staff, not just outreach.
Yeah, a great example of a cross-divisional effort where we had folks from 3 or 4 different divisions: our fisheries division, our law division, outreach, even some folks from our wildlife division, all coming together to create these opportunities. And these sites were, each flagship event had DWR staff on site. We had rods and reels, terminal tackle, bait. We were trying to introduce people to fishing for the first time, in addition to surveying our anglers to try to measure the effectiveness of these kind of events.
Yeah, and some of the data we got back really gave us some good insights. So, we found that we were, in fact, reaching a lot of first-time new anglers. A lot of people that had fished in the past. Probably most of them were like when they were a kid, or but they weren't avid. We were reaching people in these high population areas that were just there doing other activities and were really open to fishing, and we just provided that opportunity. We advertised, we marketed, we tried to bring people to these sites, and I think it worked to some extent. Things like traditional radio ads, that stuff didn't really work. Social media was better, but I think the most effective was just people that were already at these locations anyway, walking by and seeing us set up, and they were like, "Oh, I want to try fishing." And
we really found that when presented the opportunity, folks were willing to give it a shot, which is encouraging.
I think that's the point with all this program, is that this kind of brings fishing, it makes it accessible to the general population and people that are busy. They have other things going on. They want to be able to run errands on a Saturday and then also swing by the lake and throw a line out. You can't do that if you're driving an hour away from your location. So that's what's great about these Fish Local places, is that it just combines everything together in a nice opportunity.
Absolutely. In addition to learning about how people heard about the events, we actually found out too that as far as attendance goes, people were usually with either a daughter or a son or a family member or a friend. So again, we really are trying to pitch angling as an opportunity to get out with friends and family. The outdoors are better together. And it was really encouraging to see for our Free Fishing Day kind of flagship events from 2 years ago that, this was absolutely a family oriented activity. And we look forward to hosting more Free Fishing Day events in the future as we get into a situation where we can do that pandemic wise.
Yeah, and I think that that kind of summarizes everything we wanted to talk about with this program, and it's going to expand, and hopefully we can really brand it well and market it, because we have the management down. I think
Yeah, absolutely.
our staff does a great job managing the fisheries.
This is a great example of teaming up between fisheries and outreach to really blend the science and management of our fisheries and present that to the general public through an angling opportunity. And we're really, again, trying to promote these local opportunities in urban areas, whether you're fishing the James River in downtown Richmond, or whether you're at Shields Lake or Dory Park. These are opportunities for folks to get out locally, connect with the resource, actually try fishing, and try it with friends and family. And ultimately, what we're really trying to do is connect people to our rivers and our lakes and our impoundments, have them enjoy the resource so that they can understand really the enjoyment and the value that the resource brings them. And then ultimately, we're trying to build stewardship and conservation and advocacy of these resources. So Free Fishing Days is a great tool in our Fish Local Virginia program to connect people. But again, I think Fish Local Virginia is going to be a great marketing campaign and an effort for us to brand and connect people to these opportunities.
Yep.
Let us know if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer them. I know I think we're at about 17 minutes here. So we got a few minutes for questions, and we'll get to the next presentation shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.